Hey guys, Wombat here. Got another game for you. Playing my old friend Grant and playing the role of the Empire. Surprise, surprise. I'll try to get some more Rebel content in here shortly. We got a pretty good match here. Take a look at the loyalties. It looks like we're going to have a very standard deployment here with needing to cover Mon Cal, maybe Kashyyyk, covering Bothawui, and then just going to need to decide where to stick the Death Star and the leftover Star Destroyer unit. So I think this time I'll stick the Star Destroyer in Celeste with the idea of pushing up to being able to cover Endor, and then we'll try 2 Stormtroopers in Coruscant with the Death Star. Now, that's probably going to mean Rebel deployment in the Ord Mantell region because that's not a very strong deployment out there. He's going to likely be able to cover Megiddo and then potentially also score. The reason I don't like leaving a light deployment in Coruscant is it just really opens you up to threaten the core for a first turn, and that's really hard to do. So, for example, if he just parks everything in Ord, I can't really afford to move in there because I'm going to get confronted with a ground battle. So let's see how this goes. I drew Mahdi. Mahdi's a favorite of mine. I'm going to go ahead and probably drop him on a place where he can't be reached. So we'll stick him in Mandalore. And then tags card for my other card. Tags cards like a weakened version of Prepare for Battle or whatever Saw's card is there. All right, everybody's favorite card, Temporary Alliance, sticking giant rebel units on the map to open turn 1. I assume that's every rebel's favorite starting action card, so a lopsided one at that, but so be it. Sometimes you just have to fight a bunch of Mon Cals. So we got Leia on a mission. Nope, we got, Riken and Dodonna, so we're probably building alliance and gathering, maybe sabotaging. Yeah, I'll bet that's a sabotage and a build alliance, so maybe no infiltrate. Leia back to block, so I'm not going to do any missions. No sense in trying to rule by fear. If I was trying to rule by fear in Corellia, he could either open with a sabotage or open with an infiltrate, and then with Leia back to block, there's almost no chance that anything gets through there. So I'll just move. Let's subjugate Bothawui, subjugate Mon Cal, and then the only decision we'll need left over is who to, whether or not to move the Death Star or to subjugate Kashyyyk. Alright, we'll block hits, it'll be cancelled, and let's see where they retreat to. Now, if they retreat to Ord, they're going to threaten the core. And he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units there, maybe 6. 1, 2, yep. Okay, so he's got enough units there where I do want to attack. The problem is if I attack and I bring in 2 troopers, I'm not going to take out a snowspeeder there. That's why I often like to leave an ATST instead of 2 troopers. 2 troopers better for gaining territory. ATST better for not dying and killing things. I think if I had an ATST, I might actually risk Vader and bring him in there. Ooh, Recon on contingency plan, so we're doing 2 loyalty instead. Now that was an interesting play. So here's the problem. I was likely going to let him score, but now if he gains loyalty where Leia is, I can't block it with Vader. Because that'd be 2v3, 2v5. And I can't really risk Vader trying to take out a snowspeeder, so I'm just going to fly the Death Star in on its own. I'll use laser, it'll get canceled by the Corvette card, and I'm just going to try to kill things. I did 2 damage to kill the Corvette. and 1 on the X-Wing. But he heals the Corvette and takes out a TIE fighter and retreats. Now, on the plus side of things, he's left his ground units there, and he's not scoring threaten the core. And because I killed the X-Wing, he could not. Well, he couldn't retreat to Alderaan anyway because he had units on Megiddo. So, all right. See what happens here. Another loyalty over in Mustafar. So we're going to have a lot of rebels on queue here. We're going to have 2 Mon Cals. We're going to have 3 frigate class, either corvettes or nebulons up. We already have 1 on the board. Gross start. And on top of it, my 2 least favorite cards to pull second turn, Boba Fett Wear and Janice. Now, usually in that scenario, I will take Janice if I have... pretty much the only time I take Janice is if I have either Boba Fett as my other leader or if I have Imperial Propaganda. Sometimes I'll take Boba Fett if I have good capture cards, which in this case I really don't. But to be fair, Janice betrayed me in the game I played before this, not posted yet. So I was mad at him, so I took Boba instead. So that's what we got. All right, as you can see, we have a massive amount of rebels on queue here. We have a contingency or a force in Utapau. I have Mustafar and likely Bespin to deal with here. I did not get my starting units out of Corellia, so they have to leave for Selust this turn. I have to get a Star Destroyer either to Naboo or Geonosis as well. So I have 2 moves I have to make, and then my Death Star is really exposed. So I have pretty much 3 moves I need to make, so I can run a maximum of 2 missions. I have Boba Fett, so I need to either run a capture or a gather intel because I don't have anything useful for him to do, and I'm not going to be blocking a first turn sabotage if he drops that on Corellia. So we're just going to try to capture somebody and hope we draw some missions here. And then Mahdi is on. What did I put Mahdi on? Address delays? Nope. Oh, no. I don't actually know what I put Mahdi on. Guess we'll find out together here. All right, Cassian is grabbing 2 missions out of the mission deck. So that's not heading our direction either here. Gonna have an uphill battle here. At this point in the game, it's something you want to think about. So when I play, I like to think about kind of like a risk meter. How risky do I need to be to try to even out the game? You got to take some chances sometimes, right? So I like to think of like a balance, like a scale. So if things get more and more heavily weighted on the Rebel side of the scale, the Empire's got to be a little bit riskier with the missions they play to try to end the game faster if possible. If things are weighted towards the Empire side or going pretty even, then you don't need to be as aggressive. So right now, I've got an opportunity to wipe out 2 Rebel units using a Death Star because they can't retreat because they don't have any Rebels back. So I'm risking the Death Star being exposed. It's completely naked over Rebel units with no TIE Fighter escort and nothing anywhere around it. But for me, that made sense to do because I needed to get rid of those Rebel units. So let an Infiltrate go through with Dodonna here. And I got Tag, the Emperor, and Vader left to go here. And Boba Fett's going to go ahead and try to capture Dodonna. Now, he infiltrated in a great spot. That's a very exposed place for a captured leader to be. I cannot move that leader around without getting a transport unit there. I can't build anything where he's at. and he's open to like a hit and run or anything along that lines, we'll free him up. So that being said, better to get a leader than not have a leader. So we'll go ahead and do that. We're also going to subjugate Kashyyyk. I don't want any more rebels being built than are already being built, so we might as well get rid of that before Wookiee Uprising has a chance of coming out. He didn't take Saw, so probably doesn't have it. And then Leia's about to sabotage something here. Probably the most sabotage spot in the game, Bothui. Maybe that's more sabotage than Corellia, I don't know. And let's see, what else do we have here? Oh yeah, secret weapons research. So that must have been my thought with Mahdi, is I'm behind. I didn't build any Star Destroyers, and I need to get some stuff on the queue. And I drew something decent. I got Construct Factory. I also got not proceeding as planned, Oversee Project, which is nice, except I don't have any projects to actually oversee. All right, Vader's going to Geonosis. Why Geonosis instead of Naboo? Well, because the Emperor's going to Slust, and then I have coverage at this point. I can get to Cato Nemodia. I can cover Bespin. I can cover Mustafar. And I wasn't going to block Bespin because at this point, if he's going to score, he's going to score. So we already did what we could to prevent the rebels from scoring threat in the core. If they're going to score regional aid, then they're just going to do it, and they do. You can see up there in the top left corner. I got a discard with discard interrogation, and interestingly enough, I drew Carbon Freeze, which feels pretty good. I also drew Krennic, who's a 3 intel leader, who I like. I got Heart, Seize Control. So when deciding what missions to put where, usually it makes sense with Krennic's card to pair a level 2 and a level 1 together. That way when they infiltrate, you can pay attention to which one they keep. All right, we got a shield bunker, but nowhere really to deploy it. I don't have any incoming rebel fleet. I don't have a Death Star that can be deployed anywhere, so I'll leave the shield bunker on queue probably. Nope, I guess not. Oh yeah, okay, we put it in Mandalore, that makes sense. So I have an opportunity to kind of reinforce the Death Star this turn. I can move it over the shield bunker. I can bring the Star Destroyer over on top of it too. And I can debate on what I want to do with Dodonna here. So I might play Boba Fett but I guess I did not. Instead, Boba's going to go on Carbon Freeze. And then we're going to go with Trade Relations with the idea of moving out Mustafar or Bespin's loyalty. Or maybe taking Cato. So where's the weak point on the map right now? The weak point on the map is where Celeste is, even though I've got a Star Destroyer and an Assault Carrier there. So if I move the Star Destroyer to Mustafar and the Assault Carrier to Bespin, then he comes in right behind me at Cato, and then I'd have to move my Star Destroyer from Kashyyyk to Cato, which I don't like. So instead, I'm going to try a Trade Relations which succeeds a Leia block in Cato, so he can't build alliance right behind me. Now what I'll do is I'll subjugate Bespin so he's not building a speeder, and then I'll subjugate Mustafar after that. We'll see where Build Alliance comes in. So Build Alliance is going to come into Nal Hutta, which that can be subjugated as well. So that's kind of an interesting pick. But we'll go ahead and do that. Nope, I guess not. I guess we're going to Mustafar. Now, still sitting on a caption and Carbon Freeze. Or capture and Carbon Freeze, with the idea of if he rescued Dodonna, then I could pull a capture, and if he doesn't, I could pull a Carbon Freeze and then do a capture. So I got a couple of choices on how to do this. In fact, that's not at all what I'm on. I'm just on another capture, I guess. I played that wrong. Anyway, all right, back to business. Tarkin going to Utapau. We got to wipe that. I'm going to move all three. I should probably move all three. Yeah, I'm going to move all three of my ATSTs to Utapau. This is a classic Wombat fail coming up right here. I mean, 3 ATSTs against 2 troops or a troop and a vanguard you think would be okay, but this is often something that I lose terribly. So I probably overcommitted, especially since I had a cancel card, but you know, we're going for it. All right, did 1 damage. See if they heal here. Yahtzee would be a heal and a damage, and that's exactly what got rolled. Oh no, just a... All right, anyway, we're done. 1 ATST down, Utapau back. All right, we got an address delay. We'll stack that on top of Utapau as well. Get our capital ships on the board finally. And we have another capture coming up here. The logical place here seems to be to go to where Mothma is. I'm bringing everything because I have the Bothawi card, so you can leave the sabotaged rebel base behind. I mean, it is exposed to plant false leads, but unlikely. Then we're going to go ahead and capture Mothma here. So now we know the rebels don't have any mission cards or any any rescue cards or mission cards that could have rescued Dodonna. So Mothma is a higher value target than Dodonna, so that seems like a fine person to capture. A little bit more secure. And now I've got a fun little combo I can do. I've got homing beacon, carbon freeze, another capture. I got quite a few things stacked up with Boba Fett wear. And I have my unit base in Nal Hutta doesn't necessarily need to move to Toydaria because it's not going to be a build round next turn. So I think that might be a good time to try to pull off carbon. Maybe I should have done it last time, but I just had so much work on the map to do. I had to get Cato, I had to get Bespin, I had to get Mustafar, I had to get Utapau. You know, all of those spots were committed to. So I don't think I had enough stuff. I also needed to get some Star Destroyers out on the board. So for deployment, Rebel's actually sitting on queue, so not committing to either a Death Star trench run or deploying Moncals into the base. So I'm a little confused by that. I think that means I'm not very close to the base. I'm not actually sure about that. So maybe Yavin? I feel like if they were in Endor or Hoth, maybe I would deploy my Moncals out. I guess it also could mean maybe there's a hidden fleet coming up. I'm not too sure. Those of you who have seen Grant's other videos, he loves to plant false leads, hidden fleet sort of combo. So I'm going to Boba Fett wear just in case he had a capture card. And then my plan is I'm going to carbon freeze, I'm going to draw out another leader, and I'm going to pull him into another capture. Then I'm also going to try to pull off a homing beacon. I'm going to try to do all these things together. That's my initial thought here. And he can't rescue, but he can drop a leader in there to block. So having Boba Fett there will be nice for adding to total dice rolled. So we'll see how Grant plays this here. So I guess it ended up being a good thing I took Boba. Drew some nice cards. So we'll put Vader on carbon. Tag on capture. Krennic on homing beacon. Oh, no homing beacon. And then draw them out into another capture, I guess. I needed one more fist leader to pull off that whole combo. I think homing beacon's yeah, there we go. Homing beacon's the right card to play. Although I don't know about this decision here. But I guess that's a thing. Okay, we're going to try homing beacon. Krennic, withdraw them out. Oof, what a mess. All right. See what he does with preparing for Mothma's torture here. Yeah, so he anticipates that. So he's going to put Leia in, maybe? He's going to put Leia in Nalhada, which would give him a dice roll advantage for like, or even things out if I try like a lure by fear or a lure to the dark side or something here. Most likely he's probably expecting interrogation droid. But we'll start off with a carbon freeze. So 6v1. And then that works. So Mothma is now carbon frozen. And then what I can do is I can go in with tag and capture Leia, which will be a 7v1 roll there. And then that'll neutralize her her skills here. It means I may not need draw them out, so maybe I overthought things a bit here. If he did not, the idea was if he didn't put Leia in there immediately, I could draw out her or Riken, whoever was left, into Nalhada to prepare for that heavy capture with Vader and Boba there already. So that was the thought, but now it looks like draw them out might be fairly worthless. So then I think the next move here is capture. Yep. And then after capture, I can then release Leia with homing beacon and then potentially recapture again down the road, maybe. And then since Grant's playing base deck, there's no leader recruits, so that's a nice thing too. Chewie's on Falcon, but he can't do anything about that right now. Akbar's going to build alliance. I can't get to there this turn because I'm busy torturing an old lady. And now we're going to homing beacon. And here's the thing. I can either homing beacon Leia, which is the more correct version because she's captured and I can recapture, or I can take the high percentage and go with Mothma. And because there's so many spots the base can be, I'm just going to make the bad decision from a capture standpoint and go for Mothma. Luckily, because I only roll one dice, and Leia could have easily blocked that with her dice. And Mothma didn't have any intel, so we're just going to let that go. And interestingly enough, she goes to Ord. Okay, so that means the base could be an Ord, Ilum, or Dantooine. Remember, I attacked Ord, but not with... interesting. And then we've got a sabotage on Coruscant. Okay, that means he might be prepping for threaten the core. Or not threaten the core, maybe, yeah, because that was coming up in the objectives. Was whatever that objective is that I can't remember. All right, so we're going to consolidate everything in Mandalore. The Death Star is tired of being exposed. We know the base is nearby. So we're going to go ahead and prepare for our battle here. I'm going to go ahead and pass, and so does Riken. No sense in drawing Riken out and not doing anything with that. So I probably lost a couple of movement actions there with my mission choices. So he actually, so what's going on here? He's playing Long War for seize control and cut supply lines, but we actually correct that later because he scores cut supply lines here because he's got Coruscant, Celeste, and Megiddo. So we fix that down the road. And I draw Dagobah and Geonosis for cards. All right. Now I got another capture card coming up here with Post Bounty. Or I can take the better leader. However, since I just drew Collect Bounty, drawing Jabba seems like the right thing to do. Now the downside is I have to eat somebody, so I suppose Mahdi's the most likely candidate here. I'm not doing a lot of logistics at the moment. Okay, he's deployed at Rebel Cell and a Moncal and a unit up in Kashyyyk. And I've got a AC. No, he's going with a Okay, so he'll be attacking out, trying to take out that AC. And I'm not deploying a capital ship, so I can't deploy anything back into Seleucami. So Rebel Cell, if left unchecked, is a little bit of a nightmare, especially because he's got Long War and things he can dump into that. So let's see. I'll go ahead and deploy, anticipating he's going to come in and attack. I think the right thing to do is deploy 2 starfighters there. Oh, I guess he changed with a troop. So I'll do a starfighter and an ATST, drop a TIE fighter in, and my other ATST in the Mandalore. Try to reclaim Dantooine, Ord, and then find the base down in that region. Okay, gross. Rebels got Wedge back and Dodonna back. Chewie on a mission. And then probably the first move is going to be to go into Nal Hutta. If it's not, my follow-up move would certainly be to go into Kessel and try to get that Rebel Cell. He could also have deployed in Bothawi, but if he deployed it in Bothawi, then there's not much I could take there. Or not much he could deploy there. All right, I got Jabba back to block, so I'm going to try to post bounty on somebody and collect it. All right, now I've got decent odds here. I've got 2 greens, a red, and 2 black. He's got a single black dice and 2 red dice, and he needs to take out the aircraft carrier. So I'm going to be tricky here, and I'm going to play tag. I'm going to take my TIE fighter cards back, as well as my Death Star laser. Now I've got an advantage here, so I can put 2 damage on the Mon Cal to start. Now he can block 2 red hits, but I'm only rolling 1 red dice, and I've got 2 greens. So I can pull out the Mon Cal card. No, he doesn't do it. Okay. Now I just need a red hit and a crit on one of the rest of the dice. So this is doable here. Now he's going to do 2 damage to the AC. So I could heal that AC as well. So let's see how this works. Okay, we got 1 hit, and then we need a crit with one of these 2 dice. Oh, I guess I'm only re-rolling 1. All right. Bummer. Okay, 3 damage. I thought I was being tricky there with tag and whatnot, but turns out I just wasted a leader and a card. And I didn't even pull out the Mon Cal card. Okay, now I got to figure out what to do. I got to get to Rebel Cell, but I know the base is in the corner. So he's got some good rapid spots in Tatooine and Ryloth. Also in Hoth and Endor. Yeah, the map is actually just a mess here. That's what's going on. All right, we'll let him infiltrate. So now he's probably got threat in the core. Especially if he's down in the bottom left region. So what I'm going to try to do is I'm just going to try to get the map in better shape. So I'm going to try to limit his options to run away. I have a nice buffer at the moment for objectives, even though I know he can start scoring with Rebel Cell here. So he's going to try to build alliance, and I'm going to try to block it with Jabba. See how this goes. I roll 2, he rolls 1. Okay, so now I can post bounty on Mothma, and now I can collect it with Boba. I assume that's what I do here, but we will see. Just have all my captured leaders in Nal Hutta. I did not play Collect Bounty this turn. Why? Because I make bad life decisions. That's why. Why would I keep Jabba the Hutt back and not Collect Bounty? All right, whatever. I guess I wanted to drop probes, get the map under control. So that works. Kashyyyk, Malastare, Naboo, those are fine. I'm already on 2 of those, but every probe is good, because if you're drawing bad probes, it means you might draw good probes later on. Oh, we got Strike Team. That's bad news. Okay, so why is Strike Team bad news? Well, because we've got, so I have to block this. I've got Vader available, thankfully. See if we can block Chewie. 1, 0. Woo! Lucky boy, Vader. All right, so no Strike Team going through. That's good, but means I might not be able to keep waiting around like I'm doing now. So we'll remove the sabotage, draw a project card. That super laser seems timely. Wedge is attacking from either Ort Mantell or Ilum. He's bringing everything. Holy cow. All right, well, we've got a big giant fleet in Ord ready to move into Coruscant next turn. I think I got lucky there with Vader and Chewie. I guess even if it goes through, we've got, I've got 3V. Got a little bit of a chance. I got a tank against a speeder and a few troops. All right, and then we've got Krennic on building a Star Destroyer, I'm assuming. Nope. We're removing, I guess. Okay, I'm not sure why we're doing that. We should be probably building capital ships. You have a giant fleet coming out. But okay, we'll get an AT-AT on board. Why not? I am building a couple of AT-STs this turn, so I can get some back. I can get some support into Coruscant. And then he's gonna rapid and also rescue Leia. All of that is fine. So I guess next round I will be collecting bounty maybe. All right, we got Ilum back, so that's where the base was. So now where is the base going? Maybe Ryloth Tatooine, maybe Yavin, unlikely, maybe Dantooine, also maybe Hoth. Hoth seems like a spot that would be risky. And he could just be going to Ord where he already is. I mean, that would be kind of a interesting pick. So I went ahead and drew some probes. Got Nal Hutta, which I'm already on, and Endor, which I'm already on. So we're doing great with drawing things we already have. I did draw Planetary, which is nice. So I've got Planetary, Collect Bounty. Got Secure the Plans. I might actually need that here. So we got a lot of open spots. I have some troops to deploy. I need to defend Coruscant. And because he's got a U-wing there, it doesn't make any sense to put a striker there to blow up a ground unit because he can just redeploy it. So I'll kind of increase defenses around Mandalore. I'll also drop my 2 AT-STs, I think, into Coruscant. And I'm going to give him a choice to make here. So by putting an AC in Nal Hutta, if he decides to attack the AC to prevent me from getting Rebel Cell, then I can attack his fleet or do something else. If he attacks Coruscant first, I can then counterattack into Rebel Cell. So by placing an AC up there instead of a Star Destroyer, which honestly doesn't stand much of a better chance of winning, I'm giving him that choice. Now, I also could deploy a AC and a troop or something into Seleucami, but that's not enough to take out Cell by himself. So I'm just going to deploy around the Death Star so I can check Yavin. I assume he's going to go for the kill shot and go to Coruscant, although I've got a nice defensive group there, so we'll see. I also drew Proceeding as Planned for my hero previously. Okay, so we're going to load up Planetary and Secure the Plans. because apparently I am just going to wait on collecting bounty to a more opportune time. I mean, the game is not almost over. He's scored 1 with Rebel Cell, which I've countered through Carbon, and then 2 additional. So I have a little bit of time, although, to be fair, I don't really know where the base is, so I guess we'll see. I definitely want to cover Hoth. Definitely want to move some stuff up to, looks like I'm planning on going Tatooine to Ryloth. Definitely need to get Rebel Cell. And then it seems unlikely to move to Ilum to any of the spots in the bottom left corner, but maybe not. And he's bringing Akbar in. You know, he might be doing that for a card. Maybe he's playing Akbar's card. I'm not sure. All right, Vader's got to come in. Yeah, you got to come in. There's no Return to the Jedi, and even if it was, you have to risk it at this point, you know, to get that extra reroll. Okay, Akbar is coming in. So I've got 2 ATSTs. Ah, there we go. Point blank assault. Okay, so my ATSTs are 1 strength. So are his speeders. And then he's got 5 infantry. And I've got 2 infantry and a tank. So he's going to tow cables a speeder. And I'm going to take down a... take down 2 different speeders, because remember they're 1 health now. So I think that card might have been maybe a little over aggressive. We'll see. But again, he just has to wipe me. He doesn't need to survive. So he rolls 3 damage. 1, 2, and then maybe the tank. Or he wants to overkill that other ATST with the idea of then being able to wipe the rest of me here. So I need a good roll plus reroll here. I need 5 damage, which I can roll that. I've got 4 blacks, so just 5 hits and then we're safe. Nice. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I have a heal, or I can re-roll that for damage. And damage seems to be the way we're going here. Now that's risky, but again, have to kind of risk it. I got that last hit, so I got all 5. Okay, point blank assault didn't actually hurt Grant there in that move, I think, because I wouldn't have been able to take out all those units. I still may have won in the follow-up card, but I think he might have been better with maybe just using Riken or somebody to move in and have that extra reroll. I'm not sure. Anyway, I feel pretty good now because there's not a whole lot that can be done against Coruscant anymore. I mean, he already used lead the strike team. He does have a hunt them down, but I have Vader there already. So I'm going to go ahead and use tag to go after this Rebel Cell here. And the only thing that's important here is getting the Rebel Cell piece, because I already have a lot of the other probes up there, and I don't think he's in Toydaria. So I'm going to go ahead and use the Striker card to blow up a unit. And I do 2 damage, which is nice, and I also basically rolled Yahtzee, so he heals, though, and takes out the Striker. I have my AC left, and I need to take this guy out. So flipping the combat seems like a good choice. He does no heal, which is the perfect counter card to that. As good as you get. He does a damage. I lose a troop and can't heal. I just need 1 hit, and I got it. Okay, so far this round has gone great. I have held on to Coruscant. I have gotten back Rebel Cell, and then tossed the action back to Grant. Now what I'm doing here is I'm actually retreating. I'm grabbing Rebel Cell and also retreating. Now because I leave a unit there, he can also retreat. So lots of retreating going on. There's no decisive victory because I did win a ground combat. And then Dodonna is now infiltrating. Okay, so infiltrate means he's losing some momentum on his missions, I think. So I'm going to go ahead and secure the plan. Now, I edited out a move to Hoth with Ozzel and then a rapid. So both of those happened as well. But then I went ahead and dropped secure the plans. On top of Ozzel, I've got a defended Death Star, and now I'm ready to continue exploring the galaxy here. So the question here is, do I move a single Star Destroyer to Tatooine, or do I move both Star Destroyers to Geonosis? And I think the correct move is Geonosis, but he's pretty weak in the base right now, so I just decided to check Tatooine. He's not there. And then now he's got hit and run. So hit and run, I do have Vader there. And I lose. So I lose my 2 units. But in preparation for that, I had planetary. So now I have 6 versus 3, and I can planetary back in, which works. So that was a nice combo. That was barely winning the ground battle, losing it again to hit and run, winning it back with planetary. And then because I have the bottom right quadrant fixed, I can just take everything out of Mustafar. And again, important to take everything, because if Wedge is on another hit and run, you don't want to lose just the 2 stormtroopers or whatever you put in there. So I bring an ATST and 2 stormtroopers. So fun little exchange there with back-to-back turns of homing beacon and planetary used in a weird way. Sabotaging Kashyyyk, okay. And we know he's got seize control as well. Then I have the Emperor left. So where to go with the Emperor? So this is kind of an interesting move. I'm basically saying, hey, I don't think you're in Ryloth, and I want to move to Malastare. I don't love that idea. I'm not really sure what I'm thinking. I think I might be trying to pin that fleet in. I also need to get to Toydaria, but I have somebody out there. I think I just felt like I was not as spread out as I could have been. And then Wedge with a hit and run, but unfortunately that hit and run gets dropped on Tatooine and succeeds. So now I no longer have units that can search Ryloth. I just have an empty Star Destroyer. So that was a nice play by Wedge. So no Rebel Cell this turn. I draw Tatooine and Dantooine. So Dantooine's nice. But now we're left with Toydaria, Ryloth, Yavin, Ord, and things around the Death Star. So it's got to be Ryloth. And now I'm kind of regretting, obviously, not going to Geonosis. Imagine how that plays out if I had 2 Star Destroyers in Geonosis with lots of ground units that didn't get hit and ran. And he didn't have anything to deploy. And I could have just ended the game because I drew Tatooine, but instead I got risky and went to Tatooine. All right, so let's just get to deploying here. I don't have a lot of stuff to deploy, unfortunately. Not this turn. I do have an AC for next turn. And I have a lot of out of position units, unfortunately. One thing I need to be careful of is if he rapids and gets his Moncal and Corvette back, that would not be a great thing for me either. So I have lots of things I need to do here. He could also just attack into that Star Destroyer and possibly wipe it. I'm not sure about that Malastare move. That seems kind of ill thought. I think I handled that last exchange not very well. All right. Yeah, the other thing I could have done is I could have just given him 2 points, I guess, and then gone with a planetary and Ryloth, but that only works if he's there. Yeah, that seemed like the wrong move. All right, we're going to go ahead and finally collect this bounty, I think, on Mothma. Hopefully she doesn't just sit on Rapid, which she probably is. But even if she's on Rapid, I might be able to get it. Jabba on Rule by Fear. The idea is if I can move into Ryloth and rule it by fear, I can trigger the base and maybe wipe the units and at least keep... That way I'll just have one rebel there and then I can retreat. I don't know. Something like that is the idea. Mothma's going to build alliance. Okay, it's fine. Now we can grab her with Fett. Or we can move in with Vader and then grab with Fett. I think the better move is just to grab her and remove the ability for her to block. Would have liked to have had Display of Power. I don't think that's what Jabba's on. I wish it was. I'd Display of Power, that'd be nice, because then I could just flip it to Imperial instead of Rebel, but that's okay. And now he's gathering base defenses. So definitely looking like a Ryloth base now. Wishing I had that there. But you'll note he does not have any available leaders at the moment. So I'm going to go ahead and try to wipe this assault carrier, or this Corvette, and now interestingly enough, I don't bring the Star Destroyer. I don't bring the Star Destroyer because I think I can win this. He's not re-rolling. He does have block hits available still. I think the right move here is to flip the combat. But instead I'll just do a damage. Maybe flipping the combat doesn't matter because I don't have much. Yeah, alright, he'll flip it back, but just he's getting rid of cards because he's only got one left. Okay, second damage. Okay, got the Corvette wounded. He's got it healed and takes out a striker. Man, completely healed. That's tough. No, it takes out a TIE fighter. I don't have the TIE fighter card anymore, Grant. Alright, I'll flip the combat now. He does a lot of damage, and this attack is feeling like a bad decision here. Okay, rolled 8 blanks on green so far. Alright, gonna try to take out this Corvette, I guess. And he's rolling first. Takes out my 2 fighters. 10, 12 blanks. Okay, so I just lost a navy and took out nothing. But I did subjugate Toydaria, I guess, so we can't rapid there. I don't know about that. It's kind of gross. Okay, Rogue Squadron raid. That's going to take out my AC. I don't like that either. Man, bummer. Okay. Gotta pull this together, Wombat. I got 1 Star Destroyer with nothing out there. I have to make a decision on whether or not to go on top of Ryloth and try to trigger the base, or go to Geonosis and just try to prep. Meanwhile, Ozzel is in Yavin, because why not? Got an Incite Rebellion to score Seize Control, which is going to happen here. I don't think there's much I can do to stop that. We'll go ahead and do a damage. I'll keep the target the generators because he's got a generator in Ryloth now, so we'll go ahead and just keep that. My stuff is dead. His stuff is alive. Seize control comes out. Thankfully, I have both carbon and bounty collected, so... Excuse the Labrador in the background if you hear drinking. He's a thirsty boy. All right, tag off to Ord. Again, I have this weird idea in my head that he's gonna somehow rapid and hidden fleet or whatever and go right next to the. I don't know what's going on, so we're just going with it. And we gotta infiltrate here. And rule by fear. See if this goes off or not. Rapid. And then what to do with that Star Destroyer. Alright, we're going to go ahead and draw a bunch of probe cards here. So I drew 7. And then Toydaria I can eliminate with being under the radar, basically. Interesting chain of events here. So you can see I've sort of gotten myself in a little bit of a bind with how to get to this base up in Ryloth now. I can move that Star Destroyer to Naboo, or I can move it to RotE. He's not rapiding back the Mon Cal at the moment. And Vader is probably going on cleanup duty here, I would imagine. So he's going to go to Kashyyyk because I don't want... he's going to go to Kashyyyk because I'm worried about him scoring. I think Rebel Outposts is what he's close to scoring right now if he were to reveal the base or attack from out of the base. So I'll go ahead and wipe these units here. I've got a planetary assault force. Looks pretty good. 1, 2, 3, 4 damage. Heal my guy up. Should be an easy battle for Lord Vader. Yeah, so I guess a learning point here in this game would have been, you know, whether or not... I think a huge turning point is probably that decision to move to Tatooine. I think it was well-intentioned, but I think I should have known that there was a large chance that he's in Ryloth. Now, again, he could still be... Technically, he could still be in Alderaan or Dathomir, but that would be insane if that was where he actually was. So we're going to go ahead and move on top of Ryloth and blockade it. I'm not really sure that's the right move either. I mean, I don't want him deploying there, and he's getting all this stuff back from Coruscant. So, yeah, I just don't think it was... I just don't think that was handled very well. All right, so we got a rapid back, got all this stuff in Coruscant back. I did not move my backup fleet from Mustafar to RotE. I have a lone Star Destroyer over the base in Ryloth. I do have some ability to deploy, but my capital ship got rogue squadroned. I'm drawing Alderaan and Dathomir now, so for sure he's in Ryloth. And I don't have a whole lot of other stuff nearby, so I'm going to have to be kind of creative with how I'm going to try to pull this off. So we'll put a shield bunker in Geonosis and drop some other troops nearby as we can. I have 1, 2, 3, maybe up to 3 turns to get to the base. So Mustafar might be able to get to Ryloth, maybe. Sorry, Mustafar cannot, but Malastair can probably get to Ryloth. I have a display of power, that's fun. I have Ozzel's card to maybe defend against plant false leads. I have a retrieve the plans to maybe pull off an objective that he might score. And, you know, I do have... Let's see what we can do here. Okay, I can try to pull off a retrieve, buy me a little bit of time. And then I think I need to draw a Super Star Destroyer with Ozzel here. And I think that's pretty important because I'm going to need that super to deal with that fleet. So I'll do a super on 2, and then I'll put Tarkin out to be able to deploy it right away. I can't count on the Malastair fleet, and I can't count on that being very useful. So I'm going to go ahead and give up on my draw them out idea here. I need some units, some leaders available to move. We'll put Vader on a capture, just because I don't want to get Jedi'd. And then Boba on retrieve. So he's going to reveal Ryloth, which that combat has to happen first. Now, if he sends a leader into this combat, those units are now stuck, because revealing a base is a separate action. Now, I can throw Tarkin out there, or tag, and try to keep myself alive and retreat back to Geonosis and then force him to attack it where I have a shield bunker. The timing on that is going to be a little bit nuanced because technically what I should want to do is try to survive 2 rounds of combat so I can get my shield bunker card back. Because I built one there without actually having the card, so that was real smart of me. Alright, so he's going to do a damage. He's got a lot of dice, but no rerolls. 4 damage, but I blocked 2 of those. So he only does 2. Nice. Okay. Now I'm not going to hang around. I'm just not gonna risk that. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense to do. I would have needed to not die, and then yeah. Now we actually noticed that I forgot to reroll, and we catch that next battle here that's coming up, and so you're going to see a single black dice reroll because I can't reroll my reds because of ion cannon, but we do correct that as well. So in friendly games, I think it's really important. You'll see a lot of like little corrections like this in games that we play, and I think that's an important thing to do, even in like tournament games and whatnot. This is a super complicated game with a lot of rules. So there's my roll from last time where he lets me blow up a Y-Wing. I think that's super important to play friendly. This is a complicated game and super high stress, and like, you don't want to lose or win on a technicality. So I always try to point out to people if they're missing something or, reroll was off or whatever. All right. So he did not heal the Y-Wing with the last damage I did. Almost healed that Star Destroyer, but not quite. That would have been with the shield bunker card, but I did take out some fighters though. That felt pretty good. Let's see, get a Super Star Destroyer on cue here. And then put that on 2. Now, as for deploying it, it's going to kind of come down to the wire on here for sure. Infiltrate. It's back to level 1 objectives here. Okay, I can't oversee it yet. I'm going to go ahead and display a power. Wish I had that last turn, but going to go ahead and display a power Ryloth and flip that. So now I'll block his ability to deploy in the base. Not a huge deal, but also makes it so that that Moncal in Toydaria can't come back. So he'll move it. So I have my unit in Toydaria, which is good for like a rapid to prevent that. I'll go ahead and move my last remaining Star Destroyer to Naboo, and then I'll deploy my Super Star Destroyer on top of that, I believe. See what we got going on here. Building an alliance with Leia, okay. So I'll try a capture on Wedge. See if I can pull that off. You can choose to 1 in a million after I roll. Real nice, roll 5. Okay, so I do have Wedge captured. So he can't 1 in a million on 5. If I had rolled less than that, he could have. So that's pretty good, actually. Now that's nice because if Chewie tries to sabotage or whatever there, I guess I have Vader to roll into. He's adding a Moncal to the queue with Akbar's card. I'll go ahead and deploy my super. Now that swings the battle pretty significantly from just a single Star Destroyer to a Star Destroyer and a super against Moncals. So I like that. And he's got a rapid, and I'll try 6 on 2 for my secure the plans. And then I'll be able to see what he's got, or 7 on 2. Yep, got it. And then he's got, okay, so he has Heart, which we knew about. He's, oh, interesting, Inspire, Sympathy, and Death Star plans. So he does not have a lot of stuff here. He's not getting at the Death Star, and he's not, I'm not blowing planets up anymore, or not that I was anyway, but so we'll put Heart of the Empire back. And then now we know he's just got a scoreable level 1 mission that he just infiltrated to, and that was one that he passed on earlier. So hopefully defend the people or defensive positions or whatever. Maybe something not too great. All right, I'm going to deploy big in Naboo. I got to be careful for level 1 missions that he might have passed on. So it could be like Decisive Victory, could be like, what would he have passed on? Maybe Crippling Blow? He's already scored regional, maybe Support of the Hutts, so I got to be a little bit careful of that. And then, so game plan is I have to move to Geonosis. He needs to not score this round. So the critical piece is not scoring this round is what needs to happen. So he can retreat to Tatooine and put all his stuff there for a big counterattack next turn. And then I need to prevent him from scoring. So I kept all my big leaders back. So Vader and Palpatine are ready to try to block Incite Rebellions or whatever. I guess he's used one of those. Public Uprising is probably what Leia and Akbar are on here. Chewie's doesn't have Strike Team because they used that already in both hit and runs. So could be like a misdirect Public Uprising. Could be he didn't go back to Ryloth, so probably not prepping for a hidden fleet. See what Cassian's up to. Plant false leads. Okay, there we go. Let's see how this works out. Kashyyyk, that's covered well. Nalhutta is not covered especially well. Mustafar is covered pretty well. And Yavin is covered pretty well. So I need to prevent public uprising in Nalhutta. It's most likely the play here, because I don't have a way to cover it. And Riken's gonna rapid. Now this might be a little over zealous with Vader there, because I could just bring him into block instead. I think it would have been better to play Tarkin or somebody instead of double dropping Vader in there. I think preemptively dropping the Emperor there made sense, but I think I overcommitted a little bit there. Okay, we've got I guess I should point out the Rebels scored major victory with their last attack against the Star Destroyer there too. Okay, Tarkin's gonna neutralize Nalhutta specifically because I'm worried about support of the Hutts, I guess. See where this alliance goes. Doesn't appear to be going to the Hutt region, so that's okay. Just clear Ryloth. Let him build there. I guess he won't be able to build there. Then we'll R&D. Nowhere great to R&D, so we'll just do it. Not sure why I put Ozzel on R&D. Maybe that's the thing. Interdictor seems like the right card here, but neither one's going to get any playtime. Certainly not the super. And then Public Uprising, and it's going in Bespin, so he's going for decisive victory. Okay. Yep. Probably should have kept... Well, guess it is what it is. I can still send a leader here. I have Fett who can't do anything, but I do have Tag who can participate and do his rerolls. Jabba tried to block it, but it is what it is. Okay, now this could be a mistake. So I need to send Tag and get some lucky rolls. But bringing a Nebulon and 2 troops, it looks like, to the base here. And he does not have Hold Them Back. Now, I'm going to get a couple of possibilities here. So decisive victory, he needs to win space and ground. So he cannot heal. And I get 2 chances to roll a crit. And he's got to roll a success himself. So he's going to flip the combat, so I can't heal. I'll roll 1, and it's a crit. That is, decisive victory is busted right there. And he got me. Okay, now for the bottom, he does not have Hold Them Back. I need to do damage here. So I'll do a black damage, and then I'll need to roll a crit again. Now my crits have not been good. I'm 0 for 12 so far on green dice. He'll do a damage to me. I need to do a damage to him, and he needs to not heal. Okay, no heal so far. No heal. Okay, so I'm dead, but I just need a crit. 13. Got one. Nice. Clutch. Okay, Bespin is clear, but decisive victory was not had. So that was a very lucky on Tag's part there. All right, we're deploying. So he's deploying in Bespin, going for potentially another decisive victory in Hoth. So I need to probably put a shield bunker there. But I also have to figure out what to do about Geonosis. Geonosis already has a shield bunker there, so I don't need to put one there. I probably just need some troops and space. He is still in Ryloth. So Mothma is opening up with an Incite Rebellion, and I do no missions to keep everybody back. So opening up with an incite rebellion, which means they probably just infiltrated to liberation of all things. Okay, so that's not great. I should have pulled that tank off in my production phase. I got too short-sighted. So we're going to try to block this with the Emperor for 3. I roll a 3. He rolled a 3. Oh my god. The Emperor blocked it. That's insane. Really lucky there. Really lucky there. It pulled off a decisive victory and a blocked incite rebellion. So Krennic goes in for the kill. We discuss whether or not we want to fight the final battle. He's not interested in doing that. But what we're talking about here is whether or not he would have had better odds if he would have attacked into my Geonosis fleet, because I would not have a leader that I could send there. So it would be 2 Moncals, a Corvette, and a Nebulon against a Geonosis fleet with a super. So we decide to set it up and play alternate what-if reality here to say, okay, what does this look like? So we're going to fight this. It's going to be Akbar against an unmanned or an unled Imperial group. So he'll open with no heal and roll terribly, man. That's brutal. And I've got remove 2 damage. Oh, jeez. All right, that's 2 damage right there. I'll remove those 2 damage because of the shield bunker card. And then we're talking about that right now. Yep, shield bunker removes 2. And then counterattack. I didn't roll very well either. I have 4 damage, only 3 red that I can use. So I'll take out nothing and just damage the... I'll damage the guys instead. Now the right move here would have been to... Well, maybe. I don't know. Maybe play block hits. Maybe play no heal. He's going to flip. But I'm gonna do no healing with the idea of I need to kill 1 of these Moncals without him healing. So I think no heal was probably the right call. I'll kill a Moncal. I'll kill the Corvette. He can't heal. He's got 4 damage so far on capital ships. So that's either a destroyer or 2 carriers. And then see what we got going on here for rerolls. Okay, 5 damage. Not enough to take out the super, but enough to start whittling through the strikers and the TIE fighters if he wants to do that. He'll take out the 2 carriers. I think that's the right move here, to take out those 2 carriers. And then he's got 1 more damage. He can take out a striker. Okay. Getting whittled down pretty good. I still have overwhelming presence, though, so that seems like the right card to play here now that I got 1 of the Moncals down. Maybe should have played that last turn, but really didn't want to be dealing with 2 Moncals again for another round. And he's starting to run out of combat cards here, too. So he'll do 1. I'm rolling first. And I'm going to be rolling first the rest of the match here. Not great. 2 hits. Okay, 2 hits on the Moncal. Let's see what we roll here. We need not heals. 1 hit, 2 hits. But I'm blocking 1 of those. Okay, no, man, 3 crits. He's going to take out my 2 fighters, and nope. Just going to put the damage on the Star Destroyers. Nope, he's going to take out the fighters. Okay. Okay. That overwhelming didn't do me a whole lot of good there. It would have been better last turn. Okay, just drop damage. And he's got, there we go, 4 damage. It's a nice roll. I need him to roll no heals here. And if he does, he's only going to be healing 1 ship. No, don't be greedy. Okay, we're just going for that. I should have even damaged it out, but is what it is. All right, he's not rolling for a heal. Oof, 4 damage. Okay, so he's got the Star Destroyer down, 2 on the big boy, and we're at 3 green dice against a Super Star Destroyer. Should be 2 green dice, but I make bad life decisions. Okay, this is fun. He's retreating. Now, why retreat, you might say? Well, because he's got an ion cannon on the base. So me coming in with a super is going to, yes, it's going to give me some rerolls. I'll bring the Emperor in, but I'm going to be 2 less red dice. So he would have needed to roll 4 hits with 3 green dice before I rolled equivalent numbers on reds and heals and all that. So I'll play no card next turn. He's going to do the same. I'm down 2 red dice, but I start off with 2 hits, which is nice. He also got a heal back on his guys, and now the green dice are haunting him. So I did 2, he did 1. We got a ground combat here. I'm going to AT his. I'm going to AT his cannon. And then I think that's going to spell end of days here for the rebels. Although similar to the combat we had last time, just with the difference of I've got an Emperor here for re-rolling. In space, I guess, because he had 2 damage on there. I don't know, was it the right move to retreat? Might have been. Was it the right move to attack or to go for Insight? I probably would have taken the Insight Rebellion with those odds as well. All right, back to space. Let's see how this works. Neither of us have any cards to play this turn. So I've got, yep, we both forgot about that. Okay, so I got 3 red and 2 black. I got 3 damage, and then I need a crit here to end it. Yep, crit, got it. Good game. Good game, alternate endings. Fun times with Grant were had. I hope you guys appreciated this alternate ending. Thanks for watching. I got a couple more treats coming, and also chatting about putting a new tournament together. So check us out on Discord. Thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you guys around.